Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Simon Whistler Show with me, Simon Whistler. What a surprise. One day I could have a guest host in and I could just chill out at home.
Ha!
That is Sam Myers making noises, taking names.
Hello!
You can follow me on Twitter at Simon Whistler. Sam is at This Is Sam Myers.
This is Sam Myers.
M-E-Y-E-R-S.
You can get me there. M-E-Y-E-R-S.
I think I will say at the beginning of this episode, because we haven't done it in the last couple and I feel bad about it, please leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Subscribe. Like if you're watching this on YouTube or whatever. You know all those things. You know what to do. Also, send us ideas because we have to do all the research ourselves, which is time consuming.
But we only want good ideas.
Yeah, only good
ideas.
ideas.
Only high quality, good stories. That's what we want to know.
The number of bad ideas can be high. Like in my experience, people submit ideas and I'm like, that's really boring.
Really bad, yeah.
Yeah, it's really boring. Like, I mean, not a lot. But some people will just... Dude, the comments on YouTube, you'll get someone. And because in the back end of YouTube, when you look at comments as a whole, all of the videos are compiled together. So you'll see someone who's gone across like 19 videos and posted the same idea.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm just going to block you.
Don't want that one.
I don't want that. Yeah, it's just spam. So I'm like, I don't want this. And it's also usually a bad idea that's somehow closely related to them and they want it for something. Who cares? Don't do it, people. I want to start off today talking about winning a baby.
I'm all right. I don't want to.
Okay. I'm going to start off today with trial by ordeal.
No. Tell us about winning a baby.
This is actually, someone submitted this to me on Twitter. And this podcast hasn't even gone out yet.
So this was the right kind of
this was
good
someone
idea.
Submitting.
This was the right kind of good idea that's submitted to you on Twitter that other people can follow.
This was someone submitting for Today I Found Out. And I don't make any of the content decisions on Today I Found Out. So I can't influence that. But I can influence... the show that bears my name. Was that dramatic?
That was very dramatic.
That? Thank you.
With you know Sam Myers in the small print.
Yeah, damn right. You know what the person who recommended this to me was called? Their username?
No idea.
Smallpox. So I don't know why you know that, but it was amusing. Open up that video.
Nice. All right, here we go.
Oh, okay, actually, this video is pretty cheesy. I just liked it it had some graphics that I couldn't find.
All right.
And this was the video they linked me to. It's quite of a style. Let's just watch a minute of it. It's a bit cheesy, isn't it?
As a news reporter, I'm always looking for the scoop, hoping to find that juicy story about corruption or maybe a con man. People call and write with news tips all the time.
So just pause it.
But a few years ago...
So what we're essentially doing is we're watching a video with some rotoscoped images of a reporter doing things. And it sounds... I don't know. I didn't really get this style of video.
It looks a little bit like a less artistic version of the Take On Me video by Aha.
Yeah.
It looks like if that video was done
in Photoshop.
Digitally, exactly, in Photoshop. It looks kind of like that. So,
yeah.
All right. So, keep it going?
It's an intro. No, just stop it. I'll tell you the story.
Okay. All right.
This is where the story came from. Someone submitted this to me and I was like, okay, it's mildly interesting, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Let's close that bad boy. All right.
Oh, here you go. Okay, so there's a store in the United States of America called Fred Myers.
Yep.
Have you heard of this?
Nope.
I was like, I've never heard of this, but I thought you might have, because you must have Googled.
Fred Myers.
You know.
Well, I know there's Sam Myers suits.
Oh, really?
I have a suiting range.
That's cool.
A suit range, and I've got beds. Myers beds.
Myers beds. That's cool.
Yeah.
You've got.
What do Fred Myers do?
They're just a hypermarket. It's like Tesco.
Oh.
But it's cool. I thought, I don't know, Myers I feel it's not a mega common name.
In Germany it is. Very true. German name.
Yeah, I'm guessing Fred Myers is probably a German immigrant.
Likely.
Yeah. Otherwise he just chose the name because he liked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this happened in 1949, and essentially, basically, there was this... okay, great, we're in the documents. They scroll down to that document, and basically they put out this advert, which for our listeners at home says, there's a couple, free baby, drawing Thursday, December the 1st, 2-month-old baby, to be won by man and wife.
I like how the all right, so the next one.
So, but this was, everyone thought, I won't spoil the end, but this was deadly serious. Like, they weren't, it really seemed like they weren't joking about this. And whenever they were asked, they were like, no, it's not a joke. It's a baby. We're giving away a baby.
And this is actually a thing. This wasn't a spoof. This wasn't... All right, hang on, because the next one says, a healthy 2-month-old baby will be the grand prize.
Huge capitalization.
Massive capitals. A baby will be the grand prize at Fred Meyer Hollywood Fair drawing.
Yep. And then there's some details. Oh, yeah. Okay. So drawing tickets to be given away at entrance. We're just reading the ads here. All day. Northeast 41st and Sandy. Winner must be deserving man and wife. Prize includes year's supply of baby foods and complete layette. And I think I looked up what layette meant, but then I forgot.
Nice.
Do you want to Google it?
Good effort.
Just Google layette. I did this research like last week.
Layette.
And I glanced over it.
Layette definition.
That'll do.
Layette definition. That's what
A
we want.
layette is
A
zoom in on
set
that.
of clothing,
thank you.
bedclothes, and sometimes toiletries for a newborn child.
Okay, so it's like supplies for a baby.
for a baby.
I have all that stuff now. I haven't got
Yeah,
a baby.
you're all layered
I didn't win my baby. It'd also be weird to, win a 2-month-old baby. My baby's almost 2 months old. I feel like it knows me already, but that's just because I think it does. It doesn't.
Shave your beard off and then
who is this?
Whoa.
Although, to be fair, it
I don't
pay
like
me as
change.
much interest as it does anyone else. We went to the doctors today, and it's like the baby likes the doctor. It's not just me. And you're like, oh, yeah. Okay. Lots of people complain about this, obviously. It's a pretty crazy idea. But obviously it gets them a lot of press. Fred Meyer's, the supermarket, they're famous at this time. I don't know if they are today. I think they're still around today. I'm pretty sure. They're famous for doing giveaways. And, yeah. Okay, so...
Was this legit? Was this like an actual
it wasn't
thing?
legit.
No, it was a spoof.
Legit. I'm going to tell you what happens.
Tell us.
This is... Okay, so... This is also why... And this is bad, because this isn't a subject I would choose. Like, I would see this on the podcast, and then I wouldn't choose it.
All right.
And I just chose it because I wanted to do a submission. And it's because it's interesting. It's fine. It's like, okay, but you know everything from the title.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, they were going to give a baby away. They didn't. That's the story. That's that's it. There's not really a story there. It's just a kind of headline.
So what did they give away?
A chinchilla. It's apparently chinchilla babies are also called babies, so they gave away like a 2-month-old chinchilla. And I kind of think this was, like I said,
That's
I think
good. I like that though.
Yeah, it's good.
That tickles me in a nice way.
It does.
That tickles my pickle.
Okay. And in 1949, it was people were like, "Wow, that's really clever." Now I'm just like, okay, so I don't know. Am I way too cynical?
You're a harsh critic.
Yeah. This just feels, I even wrote in the notes, kind of lame.
I don't know. I think that's quite fun. I think that's good because if it was like a puppy and they were like, oh no, sorry, we're giving you a puppy instead, you'd be like, well, that's not a baby. But if it is actually called a baby, then I think that's a good bit of wordplay.
It was
hats off.
A poo-poo this.
Top
I think
hat off, Fred Meyers. Very nice. I like that.
I would have rejected it, and now I'm crapping all over someone who made like a legit suggestion, and now I feel like a bad person.
Smallpox, we love your effort. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a good effort, but I don't know. This is kind of, I feel, part of the work of doing a show like this or doing a YouTube channel is like,
It's the cut down.
Yeah, it's like figuring out what is a great, because this is interesting. It's interesting, but it's not.
I've got that a lot when I'm looking for stuff for this show, and sometimes I hit the mark. I feel like with some good subjects, like we did the rivers, the underwater rivers, that was cool and stuff like that.
Golden,
really good, and other times you see a fact and you go, "That's a really interesting fact," but is it a 10-minute fact?
No,
not a
and
chance.
it doesn't have to be 10 minutes. Like we do 5. Yeah, feel free to bring 5-minute sections, but yeah, I don't know. You win some, you lose some.
There you go.
Tell you what. Speaking of yours, lead. Go for it. Let my voice rest. We've only done one, but I'm ready to be entertained by Mr. Samuel Myers.
I want to speak to you today.
Oh God, I'm excited.
About the dark secrets of the making of The Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
Have you watched The Wizard of Oz?
I feel like I have seen it as a kid, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to throw out just a few quick things.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh, quick question for you. Maybe we've discussed this before. Have you seen The Princess Bride?
I feel like I've seen it sort of in the background.
Yeah, Americans are mad about this.
Yeah, Czechs are mad about this.
Oh,
it plays all the time. All the time on TV.
And I feel British people also like this, but not quite like the Americans. And I get so much shit for not seeing The Princess Bride, but honestly, it sounds really boring.
Do you know what Americans love to do? I noticed this over Christmas. Netflix is full of them. Is make shows set in America about princes and princesses that have like a little area in America that's called, like, I don't know, Eugene Land or something. Exactly. It's kind of like a little land where there's a prince who is always English. Always English.
They always, like Game of Thrones. They're English, aren't they? They sound English?
Yeah, they're all English, yeah.
Because I feel like that's the, you want to set it in the olden times or like Fantasyland. Of course, everyone in Fantasyland speaks with an English accent.
With received pronunciation.
Yes. Oh, jolly good.
No. So, all right. So, just a few quick throwouts. So, the snow in the Wizard of Oz was made of
these are like
asbestos.
quick no.
Yep. Wearing the costumes were pure torture. For starters, Bear Lahar's Cowardly Lion costume was made of an actual lion hide and weighed about 90 pounds. Judy Garland got slapped in the face.
Yeah, I heard Judy Garland had a pretty rough time on Wizard of Oz.
She did. All right, let's open this link and have a look at a bit more in depth.
Oh, where's this from? Showbiz cheat sheet.
Showbiz cheat sheet.
You must have built like a good place of. I've got like 4 or 5 places now that I find good stuff for this show. Like the obvious one is Today I Learned on Reddit.
Yep.
It's a gold mine of cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's also Britannica.
Ooh.
Has like, it's not just an encyclopedia. They've got, sorry, dude.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's okay.
I'm stealing your thunder again.
All right.
I just love the sound of my own voice.
Yeah, nice. All right. So adding to the costumes, Buddy Ebsen's Tin Man suit was made of actual metal, so he couldn't sit down. If ever he needed to rest, he would have to lean against like a post or lean against a board.
Yeah.
They had a special board for him to lean against, so it was kind of like a slightly inclined board. And he had a violent reaction to the makeup, which was put on his face, and he ended up in hospital, which happened to the Wicked Witch of the West as well. She had a proper reaction and had second-degrry burns on her face.
No.
Yes, really bad because
Do you know what was in it?
It was zinc, I think. Hang on, it's down here. It's down here.
Oh
it's
my!
Down here. They almost cut the song of the rainbow.
Wait, Wizard of Oz isn't black and white. Why are these pictures in black and white?
It's not. It's not in black and white.
I thought it was like Technicolor, wasn't it? One of the first. Maybe it was the first Technicolor movie.
It was the first Technicolor movie, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. Hang on. God, it's right down at the bottom.
Oh, it doesn't matter. She had some second-degree burns.
Yeah, so she got burned basically.
Okay.
What it was there was a metal inside of the makeup, and the metal superheated due to the lights, and it burned her face.
Dude,
yeah, really, really bad. So there's
oh my god, there's a lot of entries about why this was horrible.
Oh, really terrible. So making a sequel was too complicated. They put it back years and years and years. Studio executives wanted to make a sequel, but it didn't happen for several reasons. First, Garland's performance put her at the top of every casting list, and she got tied up in projects.
Wow.
But also, the cost was just like inexplicable. And after a certain amount of time, they just basically said, "Right, can't do that. Screw it. Yeah, can't be doing it.
Got to make money."
So, hang on, here we go. So, Burt Lahr wasn't allowed to eat while in makeup, so he's the one that played the Cowardly Lion.
Why? Because it would screw it up.
Since it was so difficult to apply the makeup, so because he had prosthetics on the face and everything like that, so he couldn't eat. And at first he tried to remain agreeable and just live on milkshakes and soup, so he didn't ruin it. But when filming of the movie went on to years, he put his foot down and requested a makeup redo after lunch. He said, "I can't do it. Come on, I have to eat."
It took years to film?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know.
There you go. Another one. So the Wicked Witches of the West's stunt double got exploded off of a prop broom. The prop broom exploded and the double had to go to hospital. So that's not good. Garland might have been molested by Munchkins.
Yeah, this is the one I heard.
So was Julie Garland molested by Munchkins? Her ex-husband said she was.
Ooh.
Sid Luft.
Wait, did she say she was?
Hang on, let's read.
Yeah,
Sid Luft was married to Garland from 1952 to 1965. According to his memoir, Judy and I, my life with Judy Garland, the actors made her life hell. They would make Judy's life miserable on set by putting their hands up her dress. The men were 40 or more years old.
How old was she?
Bastards. She was in her 20s, I believe. Yeah.
Wow, this is a dark movie.
Yeah, it really is. Like when filming the famous slap scene between Dorothy and the Cowardly Lion, the young actress couldn't stop giggling. After several ruined takes, director Victor Fleming took Judy Garland to a side, slapped her across the face, and then told her to go in there and work.
Oh my God.
The next time she attempted the scene, she did it perfectly with no giggling.
Well, it worked.
Well, that was definitely
Good lord.
Direction.
That's pretty intense. When was The Wizard of Oz made? 1950s?
50 something.
I want to know how old she was. Wizard of Oz is 1939. Dude.
What? No.
Yeah.
What? No. So it must have been literally the first
It was.
Technicolor.
I believe it was.
I think there was a reason. The shoes. Hang on. There's a thing here about the shoes. So because they weren't going to be red in the first place, and then they made them red, and they were stolen. by a set designer. They were taken home by a set designer who had them for free, and the red shoes are now worth at least $1.5 million.
Wow.
So
Judy Garland was 17.
Was she? Yeah. Oh, goodness. There you go. And then final thing I want to say about the Wizard of Oz was the. There you go. Yeah. So here we go. Sorry, I've just found this. Dorothy's slippers were almost silver, but then because of the Technicolor, they decided to use red.
That's cool.
Which makes more sense, So. Yeah, there you go. Not a film that you wanted to be caught up filming.
Would you like to take a guess at the Rotten Tomatoes score of The Wizard of Oz? Critics.
Critics.
We can do critics and audience, but what do you think?
Okay. Critics, 93%.
98.
Oh, boom.
Audience?
61.
Oh no, it's 89.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I don't know. I don't like The Wizard of Oz. It's fine. It's too weird.
It's a bit strange. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's like a.
An absolute masterpiece whose groundbreaking visuals and deft storytelling are still every bit as resonant. The Wizard of Oz is a must-see film for young and old. How can you say that groundbreaking visuals are every bit as resonant? Of course they're not. This is critics.
Resonance is a sound thing.
No, I mean like what they're implying is like the groundbreaking visuals are just as great today as they were back then. It's like clearly they're not.
No, they're not.
Have you seen any Michael Bay movie? Have you seen Transformers? Excuse me. Have you seen James Cameron's movies? Look, I mean, they've got blue people. They don't look like men with a weird prosthetic on his mouth to be a lion.
Although I have to say, I'm firmly of the opinion that I think real life effects look far more real than CGI ones.
It's 2020, really.
I don't know. Like for
awesome
instance, I think that the Star Wars aliens from like the original Star Warses look more real than the new ones.
I don't know. I've not seen it, so.
But I just that's my opinion. The CGI, it looks CGI, whereas when you have someone all done up in makeup, they look like a person. They look like a thing actually moving. And
well, with the CGI, these days they've got people in the bobble suits, where they got all the little dots over their faces. So like the CGI.
Yes, but it still looks like CGI.
I mean, yeah.
Apart from animals, they've got very good at animals with fur and things like that.
I think doing the people and that is it doesn't look right. I mean, or it doesn't look as good as a person, obviously. But doing things like cars exploding and falling out of buildings like in Fast and Furious, I can't tell.
No, fair enough.
I can't tell. Trial by... Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. On to trial
by ordeal. You familiar with this at all? If not by name, I'm sure you know what it is. It's basically like where... Back in the day, they wouldn't have like a courtroom with judge and jury and all of this stuff. They would just have trial by ordeal, which was essentially some terrible experience that you had to go through, which we're going to get into. There's a whole bunch of them.
Was this like catching the witch? Like burn the witch, and
exactly.
If she survives, she's a witch. If she dies, she's human.
This is like one example of this. And basically the idea is if you survive it, God has stepped in and he has saved you. So obviously you're innocent. Whereas if you die, it's like, well, God didn't step in and save you, did he? So he knows you're guilty. So you're guilty. So it's, yeah. I mean, at least...
What sort of trials by ordeal were done?
Oh, dude,
are there any still done? Or
I don't know. There's pretty screwed up places in the world where I'm sure all sorts of crazy stuff does happen. But let's just do the historical ones because that's the ones I've researched.
Nice.
If we want to look into does trial by ordeal happen in like... I don't know, Saudi Arabia or something.
Have any of our listeners suffered by trial by ordeal?
No.
We want to hear from you.
I imagine the same countries that have trial by ordeal don't really have free internet. Let's just say, first of all, trial by combat. I actually did a video on this on the Today I Found Out channel a little while ago.
Like gladiators.
This is more like in medieval times. If someone was accused of something, they would have to fight to determine whether they were innocent. So it might not even be to the death. It would just be like, okay, we're accusing you of this. If you win in this fight, God has intervened in this fight and made you victorious. So you're innocent. Go free and be fine. But if they kill you or you lose the fight, then they think you're guilty. And, well, then they might exile you or kill you anyway and stuff like this.
That's probably one of the better ones, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You stand a chance of winning.
You do stand a chance of winning. Yeah, actually, that's completely fair. The rest of them are pretty rough, and it's like you were just going to die either way. Even better, there were ones like the trial by ordeal, right? If you were rich, you could just pay someone to fight for you. So you'd just be like, oh, this guy looks really quite brawny. Let's go. Hey, you want a few £1,000s? I've got this trial by ordeal thing going on. Please go win for me to determine my innocence. And it's like, this is just crazy.
And the world has not changed.
Now, I never link things because I always say I'm going to, but I make so many videos that I don't, ever put the links in the description. If you want to find this one, just YouTube search today. I found out trial by ordeal, and we go into way more depth. There was 4 lines here. There's a whole video about it, and it's super interesting. I thought it was pretty cool. Fire. It's not quite what you think, though. Oh. It's not quite what you think. Basically, what they do is like, rather than doing some like Tony Robbins shit where, you got to walk over the bed of coals and whatever, they'd heat up in a fire like farm equipment. It's like big pieces of metal and stuff like that. And then they'd also heat up a rod or like some piece of metal that you could hold in your hands.
Shove it up your...
No. Oh, dude, don't. No. Definitely not that.
This is a family podcast.
It's definitely not, but dude, they'd just make you hold it. So they'd say, okay, you got to grab these 2 things, and then you got to walk across this red hot farm equipment. And they basically said, yeah, if you don't get injured, God has intervened on your behalf, so you're innocent. And if you get burned, well, you're definitely guilty. However, you'd think, okay, it was, obviously you can't beat this one. However, you did have a chance. What they'd do is they wouldn't kill you immediately. So you'd get burns, right?
Yeah.
And if your burns were not festering and getting infected, then they'd say, oh, you're innocent because God has intervened and he is healing you. Whereas if your burns got infected, they'd be like, oh, God hasn't intervened, you're guilty, let's kill you. Or like punish you. But you've got infected wounds, and it's, the medieval
times. I suppose
times.
it depends where you stand afterwards, because the...
Oh yeah, I'd be like... Well, also they didn't understand how germs worked. So they're screwed.
There's not really a better way to what's the word? Like not purify, but like clean your wound than to burn it, really.
Yeah.
Apart from antiseptic and antibiotics.
But the problem is you're opening a wound and then you're going to get an infection from somewhere.
I suppose.
Because you're opening yourself up to infection.
This is medieval times.
And yeah. Also, they don't was even miasma. Miasma theory is a good thing we should talk about. I actually have it, I think, coming up at some point, which is where they thought like all diseases was caused by smell. So if you
I've heard of that, yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
Okay.
Which, I understand why. They just didn't understand.
Well, things where disease are generally smell.
The first times, yeah.
It's something my biology teacher always told me. I'm not sure how much it's based in fact, but he told me that being sort of disgusted by dog poo is one of the only human learned reactions, like learned instinctual reactions that... It's like something that we know we should not like it, and so we don't like the smell of it because that's where germs are.
Can I get you a different chair? Because your chair is squeaking like mad. Grab that chair at that desk, and I will tell people about something else.
You fill.
Yeah, I got to get some oil for that chair. It's just driving me insane, and I know there's going to be some viewer out there who's exactly like me, and is being equally driven insane by it.
I'm coming.
That chair's markedly less comfortable. I apologize.
Oh my god!
It's a bit.
Is this a trial by error chair?
Yeah, it's a bit too hipster, isn't it?
Goodness.
Okay, so yeah, it was like kind of okay. So the wounds are festering, this kind of stuff. You wanted to say another one? Hot water, and this was. Are these? Are you getting bored? If you're getting bored, no. Just tell me, because
reel them off.
If it's bored, okay, yeah, we can hit them up a bit faster. Okay, so hot water, it was a similar thing. It was dump your hands in hot water, and again that kind of fester or heal. Does it heal or does it fester? And then they decide the innocence like this. Let's get on to something more. I'm just going to skip this next one. Okay, so I also made a comment. It sounds like the worst game show ever. Fester or heal. That was more amusing when I was writing that down. So I live near, my parents actually live in now, a town I grew up near, a town called Canterbury in Kent, which is the Archbishop of Canterbury is probably what it's most famous for. Now, they had it the other way round, which makes, and I was like, I remember being a kid, and there was this river, and they had what was called the dunking chair. And what they would do is they'd strap a, okay, you're nodding, you're familiar with this. They'd put a witch in the dunking chair, who they thought was a witch, and they'd dunk her underwater, and they'd hold her under there, and if she rose to the surface, and she got free somehow of the chair which she was tied into and rose to the surface and survived, they'd be like, oh my god, That must have been magic. She's using her witch powers to free herself. She's a witch. Let's burn her.
Burn her. No.
Or if she drowns, then, that's sad. She was innocent.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the opposite, because it's exactly the opposite. Because in the previous ones, it would be like God is, coming and interfering on your behalf to save you. With this one, it was like, if you're innocent,
If God
you
comes
die.
to save you, you're dying.
Well, no, God doesn't come to save you. You're just not using your witchy powers to escape.
And if you did survive, you're a
They'd
witch.
kill you
we're
anyway.
gonna kill you.
Yeah, if you're going to the Duncan chair, you're going to die.
Although, did you know that it's like everyone thinks that the witch hunt was like a really big thing. They were I can't remember the exact statistics.
Yeah,
but
it's
they were
way out of
way
proportion.
less witch by burning deaths.
Yeah, you think it was a whole thing. It was
really
like
was
not a
various
big thing,
occasions that happened in various towns.
where people got crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what? So in Canterbury, do they have this dunking
It's
chair?
Duncan chair. Yeah, you can still see it.
Still
It's
there?
today.
No.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes from my parents left.
How big is it?
It's small. It's like it's a small river. It's not really a river. It's like a tributary or whatever, like a canal. And it's just there's a wall, and then there's like this piece of white wood that comes out, and there's a chair on it, and then just lever it up and dunk the person down.
That's interesting, because I always pictured it as like a big arm, like an apparatus, like a big sort of
It's not small.
trebuchet thing, like maybe 10 meters
It's like
long
a
or
small
something.
trebuchet.
Small trebuchet.
Yeah, mini.
Have you
mini
been to
trebuchet.
Warwick Castle?
No.
All right, there they've got
I don't think I've ever been to Warwick.
Oh, Warwick's fantastic. They've got.
Oh no, I went to look at university. I went to look at Warwick University. It was on my list.
All right. That's very posh. No.
I don't think they let you in based on how posh you are.
But
maybe
they've got a big working trebuchet there that they have like men running hamster wheels, and then they launch it, and it launches over a kilometer, a massive like 1 ton rock basically.
Wow,
It's incredible. They set fire to the rock and they launch it. Don't get in the way.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to go.
To anyone going to the UK or in the UK, I highly recommend.
Go
going
on,
to
bring that
Warwick
up. I bet there's a
Castle.
video of that.
Yeah, all right.
In the meantime, I'll tell people about ingestion, which you'd think would be a poison thing, right? Like, a trial by, ordeal, ingesting a poison, then see if you survive. This is actually the one. You were saying how you'd like to choose the fight one. This is the one I'd choose. Because basically you'd have to eat some cheese and dry bread, and if you choked, you were guilty. And I'm like,
I'll take that.
yeah, pretty sure I can handle that one. Load up that trebuchet video.
Trebuchet. Now that sounds like not a particularly Warwick. Sorry, hang on. I can't multitask. I'm obviously Warwick Castle. Here we go. All right, trebuchet.
We
Warwick
got time.
Castle.
There's no
Here
rush.
we go.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so it's massive, and if you get a good day's weather,
Good God.
so you can. Hang on,
Gotta have
I'll
some
skip
some
forward.
volume.
So you can see. Yeah, hang on. Sorry, let's put a tiny bit of volume on. So they've got people. Will start running in 1 second. There, or maybe they've already run in the wheels.
Oh, what? To wind it up? Is
Wind
that
it up.
actually how a trebuchet works?
Yep.
That's so cool.
So I'm just skipping forward. Hopefully I haven't missed it. There it is. It's coming in the next 2 seconds.
Okay.
So you can see they've set the trebuchet on fire, and then
Whoa!
boom, and they launch it, and hopefully they're going to catch it. There it is.
Oh
Flaming
my
ball
God.
of fire.
It is really going far.
Great ball of fire. There you go.
That
And
was extremely cool.
I said a kilometer. I'm not sure if it is a kilometer.
No,
It
it's
might be a
not.
bit.
No chance.
No
but
chance.
It's
but
pretty far.
Pretty far. Enough to get over a castle wall.
Yeah.
No, but
That's pretty excellent.
yeah, I think it's really good. Are you done with your ingestion and trial by? No, you're not.
No, no, I can be. There's and then there's actual poison and boiling oil and
Boiling, that is horrible. That's horrific. Boiling oil.
yeah, but it's all the same thing. It's like, hey, do you heal or fester? Woo! And I just wanted to end this section. Just always remember that when it's not perfect. The world is not perfect. There's plenty of messed up stuff going on around the world, but always remember, it's almost certain that being alive today is better than being alive at pretty much any other point in history.
Oh yeah, that agreed. However,
Oh, go on.
I would have loved. All right, no, this has always been like a. All right, I've got two sort of if I could go back in time things that I'd love to do.
Yeah.
One is to go back in time. Say for example,
I'm ready to shit all over this. by the way.
No. To dinosaur times.
Yeah.
I'd want to go back to like.
Don't squash any bugs.
No, like Jurassic Park time or something like that.
Okay.
Like I know that's many periods in time, many eons. But I don't know. I'd go back to when like the T-Rex is around or something, just to see it. Just go like, wow.
Okay.
If I die via T-Rex, that's not too bad.
Okay.
I don't mind. And the second is I'd love to go back to like the UK, for example, England,
Yeah.
back when there were no big towns, back when everything was just forest. And
You'd have so many problems. No one would understand you.
I don't care. I looked into this,
Just
and
go into
you
the-
can go
just-
back to the 1600s, and people will still roughly be able to understand the English that
Okay.
we speak today.
Yeah.
And it's the same in various different countries. Like French is about the same. I think it's back to the 1600s, 1700s, and then there was a big vowel shift. But yeah, no, I don't know. I like the idea of a little tavern in the middle of the woods, and then there's just one path that goes, and then there's highwaymen, and I'd have to fight the highwaymen, and
This exists. Just go to a country that's less populated.
yeah,
Even here.
it's partly what I love about here.
Yes. Oh, I could talk for days about this. Like, I didn't realize quite how densely populated the UK is until I moved
massively.
here. And you walk through the forest and you don't meet other people.
Meet nothing. It's just nothing. There's forest.
There's no power lines. There's no roads.
And
it's
you know what I
just
love here?
forest.
So my
forever.
my wife pointed this out straight away. She said, do you know, in the UK there's one big problem, and that's that there's hedges everywhere.
Yeah.
Which like hedges play their
And
part.
walls.
Like they and walls, and like they split up the farmland so that everyone had their bit. However, it means you can't see anything. Whereas here and in most of Europe, there are no hedges and walls, so you
Yeah.
can just see for
'Cause
miles.
generally, it's much less. There's much less people per square meter, per square kilometer.
Interesting.
Well, because think Czech Republic's half the size of the UK, but there's 11 million people.
11 million people.
Of the UK,
10 million people. Yeah.
Great Britain, I think. Like, let's say Scotland and England. I
Yeah,
would say it's
okay.
about half the. I don't know. It's about half the size of that. Let's say.
Yeah.
But there's 7 times less people.
Yeah. And it's lovely.
I love it.
It's nice. It's nice. I like that.
However, what I would also say is a friend of mine here is from Montana in the United States.
Montana.
And he's like, it's densely populated here. And it's like, yeah, dude, because Montana is the size of Europe and there's like 4 people.
I love it whenever you meet someone from like if you go to a really sparsely populated place and tourism is not a thing there, they meet you and they go, oh, what are you doing here? like why are you in this little village?
Yeah.
I went to one of those sort of little American villages on a road trip, and we got to this place and bought some apple pie and went to this like little diner, and we got in there and they were like, howdy y'all, and it was like, hi, and it was like straight away, oh, he's English. What are you doing here? Like,
Why do you speak so strange?
why are you in this place? There's no one here. But it was very good apple pie. So hey.
Nice.
Right, I want to jump over to
How are we doing for time, by the
Yeah,
way?
we've got loads of time. We're only at the half.
Oh, okay. Lots more stuff
There
today.
you go. Oh, the people, they're
My
so excited
hunger
when
is
they hear
getting
that. They know they've got a
strong,
whole other
Sam.
half. So, have you ever heard of real tennis?
Well, I've heard of tennis.
Have you heard of real tennis?
No.
All right. So,
REAL.
REAL, yeah, real tennis.
Not like real, like some sort of weird fishing
No,
tennis.
real tennis, real tennis.
Tell me.
So real tennis is a sort of old-fashioned medieval style of tennis that used to be played with high walls and a slightly higher net, and it was played by the royals. Lots of royals were very, very good at real tennis. There are still there are still real tennis courts in Royalhampton, I believe.
Hampton Court Palace.
Hampton Court Palace. So there are a number of historical tennis courts in Britain. The earliest one at Hampton Court Palace, built in 1529, renovated to 1661. And basically the rules were that you used to be able to like bounce the ball off the wall and things like that. So
Oh, kind of like squash.
kind of like squash, like a bit of racquetball-y, but in tennis format.
That's cool. I like that.
Now, so it basically
I
got
like squash.
yeah, it's. I think a lot of people didn't realize that there's this sort of this progression of how we got sports that we have today. For example, like football started as a sort of murder ball where they used a pig's stomach and they would run it across into another village.
Oh yeah.
I think we haven't spoken about it before. Maybe we can talk about this at another time.
Yeah,
but
we should. It's a good one.
It is a good one. So tennis, basically, a similar sport was brought in by the Romans when they sort of invaded Europe, and well, I say invaded Europe when they invaded the rest of Europe. They're pretty European, and then yeah, it sort of took place in noble households in France. It kind of began to become a sport. Now,
You got any pictures of these courts?
Yeah, I will get one up in just a moment.
Cool.
Something I found really nice was, all right, here goes, a nice little quote. So, nothing is known about the rules for the early game of tennis. That it involved some kind of hard surface and a wall and a ball is about the extent of our knowledge. The name of the game, tennis, is thought to have originated from the Anglo-Norman word tenets, which meaning ready play.
Oh.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right. So quite how and
Ready,
when...
fight.
Ready, play. Tenets. So quite how and when the hand became protected by the tennis mitt. Okay, right. Here you go. This is where it starts getting interesting.
It's like fives.
Yes, it's like hand tennis. So
Yeah.
it started as hand tennis. There was a tennis mitt. It's uncertain when they started using it, but it appears from early drawings that a glove covered in vellum, which would of course been available to the clerics at the time. Vellum, I believe.
I feel like I've heard of vellum, but I'm not quite
I'm not sure what vellum is, but hey.
Carry on, I'll look it up.
This glove then appears to have had strips of catgut stretched across it, which is now today's strings.
Yes. Violins, aren't they strung with catgut? Is that still done?
No, not catguts. They're horsetail hair.
No, that's the bow.
Oh yeah,
The violin is with...
Yes, no. So you're right. The bow
Is
is with horsetail hair. I'm not sure catguts.
I'm not sure.
That's a good point. And then the glove seems to have acquired a short handle.
How do you spell that vellum thing?
Vellum.
Okay, carry on.
Vellum. So I'll pull you
Your
up.
eyesight is so much better than mine. Like you can
Can you
read
not see
that.
that?
No, I need to get my prescription updated.
There you go. At some point, tennis
It's an
became
animal
the
skin
sport
on
of
membrane, by the way.
kings.
So kind of...
Oh, there you go. All right.
the Magna Carta's written on vellum.
Is it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
All right, here you go. Hang on. Let me just pull it up for you. There you go. So this is the Hampton Court real tennis court.
Oh wow, it does kind of look like a tennis court.
Yeah, no. So it's a tennis court with a slightly higher, what do you call it? Slightly higher net.
It kind of looks. It does. It looks like a cross between a squash court and a tennis court.
Exactly. So basically, you'd stand on one side and you could whack it against the wall. You could whack it against the top.
I'd play
up there.
this.
You've played this.
I would play this.
You would play it. Yeah. No, I think it's.
Wait, is there any death? Did you get an? Is there a death part?
No.
No, I'll play it. Well, you know how it is. It could be like, well, they play and then they slay
play
each other
to the death.
You know, yeah. Until one of them dies of exhaustion.
But no, I wanted to talk to you about the sort of process of the development of tennis, because do you know? I know you do know because we've already discussed it off air. But I'm gonna say, do you know?
It's good for effect.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Where the yellow luminous tennis ball came
Oh my
from.
God, Sam! I don't know where the yellow luminous.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Simon.
Thank you. I cannot wait.
I'm gonna tell you.
This is extremely exciting.
The yellow tennis ball, which looks better on colour TV, was the idea of none other than Sir David Attenborough.
What?
Yes.
How did? I can't believe I didn't guess that.
Sir David Attenborough, back when he used to produce.
I didn't even know he was the controller of the BBC.
Well, this is how he got to go and do animals. He was the controller of the BBC. He was BBC Two, and he.
So it was like, I'm going to give myself all the prime gigs.
Well, there was someone that got ill. I think, if I remember correctly, I read his book, and he got ill, and he just got the opportunity to go and fill in as a presenter about animals, and he didn't really know that much about animals.
Pretty cool.
So he was like, "This is so and so."
Yeah. I have discovered an animal.
I think I can do quite a good David.
Go on.
Okay. If we look now.
Yeah, but this is age David Attenborough.
Okay, all right.
You got
so
a
I'll do
young
young.
man, David Attenborough. Spry
if we do
David
that-
Attenborough.
If we do now. Okay, there you go. This is a bit better. If we look over there,
That's pretty good.
we
Yeah.
can see a
Less raspy.
rhinoceros ready to mate with the elephant that he sees from the back and thinks is also a rhinoceros.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway,
This is like
so
raunchy David Attenborough.
David Attenborough was the controller at the BBC Two, and for those that don't know this, and many will not, maybe older listeners, if we have any, will remember that tennis used to be played with white balls, even into the 70s. I do, but yes. So black or white tennis balls were used and continued into the 70s. Now, I actually have a video.
Oh, awesome.
Of white tennis balls being used at Wimbledon
In colour?
in colour.
Oh, cool.
There we go. All right, so I'll just we'll just skip forward a bit.
I
Here we-
like how
here we
old
go.
BBC, everyone was super posh.
Well, they had to use
Oh,
the
yeah,
pronunciation, didn't they? Yeah.
Oh, is it white? Just go back.
Here we go. Wait. Sorry, here we go.
Oh, Rod
Let's look at
Laver.
that. Can you see? White ball.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
So basically,
That's cool.
Basically, they were used to using white balls because it was black and white TV, and then all of a sudden, color TV came along, and he said, well, it would be better to be able to use like luminous color balls, and they had been pushing BBC Two have been pushing against this for years and years, and he'd been really trying to push this, and then all of a sudden they said, right, yes, we need them, lots of them. In 9 months. So get it done. Change the sport of tennis. We
Well, just changing the color of the balls.
change the color of the ball. And he got it done. He got it done. So by the time the next Wimbledon came around, they managed to have it ready. So,
This is great. I like this.
So the ITF introduced yellow tennis balls into the rules of tennis, as research had shown that these balls to be more visible to television viewers. Meanwhile, Wimbledon continued to use the traditional white ball, but eventually adopted yellow balls in 1986. Sorry, my mistake. There you go. So they waited an extra 10 years.
Wow. Even though, wait. David Attenborough wait, so hang on. Who took it on first?
David Attenborough suggested it. BBC pushed back. They said no, and
so it wasn't his exclusive decision.
it was his suggestion, and
okay.
they said because he was controller of BBC
yeah.
Two, so he wanted to basically get the best video that he could, the best image.
Why they wait so long? If everyone else was adopting it anyway.
Well, that's the tradition, I suppose. England is a traditional place.
That's true.
Or
Yeah.
was. Right. Have you got something for us? I think that's
Always, dude. Always. I want to talk about George Clooney.
all right.
One, George Clooney's a legend. Everything I read about George Clooney makes him just seem like more and more of a legend. And you never hear of these things, and then you disagree?
I've always thought he's a bit of a douche.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like him.
Yeah, that's just because he's super successful and rich and handsome.
No, you see, I actually. Okay. I don't know. I feel like he's got far more fame and success than he deserves for his work.
Why? He's a great actor.
The only bit of great acting I think he's done is Oceans, and that's my honest opinion.
Disagree.
Oh, okay. And what was the film? I am a man of constant sorrow. What was that from?
I have no idea.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Never seen it.
What? That's such a you film.
Great movies from George Clooney. Michael Clayton. Up in the Air. Great movies.
A
couple of stunning, great performances.
highly recommend that you watch Oh,
Brother, Where Art Thou? Okay, noted.
Really good.
Noted. I will do my best.
All right.
What's it about?
It's about a bunch of prisoners who escape together, and they're on the run, and one of them's trying to get back to
When's
his
it set?
wife. It's set in like 1920s America.
Cool. I
Really
could be
good.
into that.
Really good.
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I want to talk about, but not this. George Clooney's a legend, dude. Let me persuade you. He has a spy satellite.
Ooh.
Not really, but sort of. This is what the title of this episode will be, and then we need to, people will be like, "Oh, it's clickbait." But he does have satellites that he uses for spying. He's very famous for Nespresso adverts, right?
Mm-hmm.
You into Nespresso? I got a little Nespresso machine in there. I like it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Good product.
Good product. Good coffee.
Good coffee. Hugely successful.
I've always been amazed that Nespresso is able to like run, the stalls in supermarkets and like shopping centers. I'm amazed that that works because it's so expensive.
It's
coffee.
expensive, yeah.
And people
like per thing, it really
people go
is.
and drink it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's
Good on
easy.
them.
It's good. It's easy. It's expensive. It's always like that. That triangle. You can have it cheap. You can have it fast, or you can have it good. Choose two.
And they've got all of them.
No, they've
they got expensive.
They've got good,
expensive,
and fast.
and good. Yeah.
They don't have cheap, but it's always like choose two.
I've never heard that. I like
It's
that.
really good, dude. The number of stuff it applies to is so true, and like finding one that hits all three is so rare. Like you can have it cheap, you can have it fast, or you can have it good. Choose two.
I wonder what this podcast is.
Ooh, good question.
The equipment's quite
Well,
expensive.
but it's free to get it.
So it's cheap.
So it's cheap.
It's good.
Well, it remains to be seen. And it's it's fast. Is it fast?
It's very fast. All right, we're churning out a
Are
good
we
few
gonna-
hours a week.
Are we going to hit the trifecta of things? People will be like, it's not free. I've got to watch ads. Oh, dude, the biggest one is like, I make all these videos on YouTube, which are available for free. People, it's not free. I've got to pay for my internet. It's like, and how much of that do you think I get? Good God. Okay. George Clooney, spy satellite. Open up that HuffPo article.
Yep.
So the reason I bring up Nespresso is because he apparently, according to him, and I believe him, spends the majority of the money that he gets from the Nespresso ads on... Oh, is that video not going to work? Oh, no, it's not relevant. Sorry, that's just an ad. He spends the majority of that money on, or he did previously, we'll get into why not in a second, why not anymore, on a spy satellite that watches over Sudan. And I'm just going to read a quote from this article that I have in front of me. This is a quote from Clooney. Most of the money that I make on the Nespresso commercials, I spend keeping a satellite over the border of North and South Sudan to keep an eye on Omar al-Bashir, the Sudanese dictator charged with war crimes at The Hague. Then the Sudanese dictator puts out a statement saying that I'm spying on him and how would he like it if a camera was following me everywhere I went. And George Clooney says, well, welcome to my life, Mr. War Criminal. I want the war criminal to have the same amount of attention that I get. I think that's fair. And I'm like, that is so good. And so basically, he's just like, he's got spies. He has the spy satellite. He rents it, actually, because it's, George Clooney's rich, but satellites are really, they're governmental operations a lot of the time. Although not as expensive as you would think, but it's up there in the tens of millions. So he can afford it, actually. We'll get into that.
Yeah, he could get his own, yeah.
But yeah, so he was using this to make sure they didn't, to let him know that someone's watching. If you commit war crimes, I'm watching you.
And it was simply that. It was simply like
he was
I'm
just
here,
like, I'm
big
here,
brother.
I'm watching. George Clooney's watching.
That's not
Don't
funny.
misbehave. So great. However, this is all a bit out of date because since this article was written, that guy has been deposed in a military coup. It's good news. George Clooney was right. That guy is a dick. And by the way, this is YouTube, so there's going to be comments on this little section. People saying like, he was a hero to our nation. Because, dude, we made like a video about Bin Laden and people are like, he was a hero. And I'm like...
no, he wasn't.
All right, no, he wasn't. He was a monster, and it was awesome that he got shot. I love it. I hope that he died in pain. It's fine. I'm totally okay with saying that, and I don't give a shit if you disagree with me. Yeah. So the satellite was tracking where the army was. It wasn't quite as simple as just a watchful eye. He'd also used the satellite information so he could see where the Sudanese army was going and alert civilian populations when they were coming, so they could flee.
Good.
Yeah, so they wouldn't get persecuted.
I think there's actually a few celebrities do things like this, and you just never hear about it. There's who runs a charity.
This is my point about. Just stop a sec. This is my point about George Clooney. You never heard of this?
Yeah, never heard of this.
It's a good guy.
I think it's Keanu Reeves runs a charity.
Reeves is also a super good guy.
Big charity, I think it is, or it might be. It was the other one that did A Star Is Born recently. The one in The Hangover. Really good looking one. Bradley Cooper, I think. I think he might have a charity, and he doesn't put his name anywhere on it. I feel really bad for whoever's charity this actually is.
I feel in a way you should say you could put your name on it because it will attract more interest and investment.
Yes, but this was the thing. He didn't want to take away from the charity, whoever it was. I can't remember, but I know, for instance, Keanu Reeves is really good with this sort of thing as well. And you never hear about his charity work, but he does loads of it. And this is a similar sort of story. I like this. Well done, Mr. Clooney. You've won me over.
Okay, well, I'm going to win him over on you even more.
Go on then.
This is just a bonus George Clooney being a legend fact. Open up that BBC article.
Okay.
He gave... This is more famous. Maybe you've heard of this. Maybe you haven't. He gave a bunch of money to his friends.
Okay.
Have you heard about this?
No.
So we actually did a Today I Found Out video about this a while back, and I just wanted to bring it up because he's such a legend. Such a legend. This was in 2013, and he just... I think he lives in LA. I imagine he lives in LA. And he just invites, I think it's 13 friends or 12 friends, something like this. And he invites them all around for dinner. And these are people who he says helped him get where he was.
Okay.
So, and he said, these are people from I came to LA. I slept on your couch. I'm so fortunate in my life to have all of you. And I couldn't be where I am today without all of you. And there were people from different places. Like some were successful, some not so much. Like I remember reading some of the names and being like, oh, that guy, I know this guy. And then others were just some dude who's like working in a bar trying to support his family. And he says, George Clooney said to them, you don't have to worry about your kids. You don't have to worry about, school. You don't have to worry about paying your mortgage. This was one guy who attended the dinner is what he said. He was saying that's not Clooney. Also, because he's a double legend, he just presented it all in cash. There was just a bag of cash sitting at their place, $1 million.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. Even better, because obviously you're going to have to pay tax on that. He was like, all taken care of. you will leave. You have $1 million,
An actual $1 million in your
an
bank.
actual $1 million,
Yeah.
all of the gift tax or whatever we've taken care of.
Jeez.
So, and this is a big deal.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And importantly, this was 2013, I think. And George Clooney, this was estimated as being 10% of his net worth at the time,
Oh, wow.
which is major.
That's a lot.
Like, I think about giving away 10% of money I have. I feel like that would hurt.
Yeah.
That's like,
Even
holy shit.
I don't have very much. So like that's
Well, this is the thing, because it's proportional. You think, 10%'s not that much, but it really is.
Yeah, it is like of anyone's way. And
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I know there comes a limit, and he obviously sort of has hit that limit where he can do whatever he wants, even without that 10% of his thing, but of his earnings.
But it still hurts.
But it still hurts. No,
Yeah.
no. Like my point is that you adapt your life to how much you earn. And so he obviously has the like the taste and the thing and all the sort of habits of an extremely wealthy person, and to suddenly lose 10% of your net worth, that's losing a safety net.
Yeah.
That's if everything goes wrong, I've got that safety net. You
No,
know,
it's
and-
not a safety net. He's fine.
but
But
it's still a lot. That's
yeah, I just think absolute legend, super cool. Karma's a thing though, apparently, because that was 10% of his net worth at the time.
yeah.
Since then, did you know he had a tequila company?
No.
He started a tequila company. He co-founded it with some other dude, and he sold it for $1 billion.
No, he
So
didn't.
yeah, he did.
Really?
George Clooney is mad rich.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool, right? Because
That
you
is
think,
cool.
he makes money from movies.
Do you know what the company was?
I want to say Avignon, but I feel like that's what it was in the Entourage TV show. Did you watch Entourage?
I didn't. No.
Love that show.
My brother loved it.
Yeah. I watched it like 6 times.
I'm gonna look it up. Hang on, George
Clooney Tequila Company.
Clooney Tequila Company.
And then my final line of notes on this is lots of indications George Clooney is a legend.
Casamigos.
Avignon was definitely the one from Entourage. One of the characters starts a tequila company and makes a ton of money. But it's funny that this happened after, like, that.
It seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment of
Ryan
celebrities.
Reynolds has aviation gin.
Aviation gin.
Aviation gin.
Great adverts.
Yeah.
Really good
Ryan
adverts.
Reynolds is a legend as well.
He is fantastic. I really respect his work. Like, really kind of good.
How can you... Okay, I get it. Ryan Reynolds also a legend. George Clooney's a better actor.
Do you think?
Yeah?
I think
Pretty sure.
I think Ryan Reynolds has found his niche.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds is much cooler.
He's got that. He's got,
is he?
No, he's not.
And also, I don't know if...
He's got that sort of. He's got that very quick humor. He's like real sort of. He speaks to himself and to the camera and to like.
He does. And look, I don't want to argue because they're both S tier.
Yeah.
We absolutely know that there is no other tier of coolness and being a legend
Yeah. True. Yeah.
for both of these guys. And they're both as cool as each other.
Yeah.
And I wish I was as cool as them.
Yeah, me too. Do you know, sometimes, do you ever have moments in your life where you kind of go, do you know what? I think I'm pretty cool. I think I'm good under stress. I think I could do this thing or that thing. And then you have to go and actually do it. And you realize you're really not as cool as you think you are. I had this, like, we've spoken about it. I had my singing audition.
But I don't think I'm good. I generally, I feel I'm a pretty good judge of what I'm capable of.
Okay, yeah.
But only through learning.
I mean, we've spoken about it before. I went and did this.
So you think
this
you're
singing
better at
audition.
stuff than you are?
No. So I went and did this singing audition, and I thought when you watch TV and you see people singing, you kind of sing at home and you go, oh, it's so much easier. It's so much it's so easy. How are they getting it this wrong? And then
I would be like, I suck at that, and I suck at it.
and then no, and like I always think like oh, I can diva it up a bit and be a bit sort of like a showman. And I got on TV and I got on camera and I was like, I got shy. My palms went sweaty. My voice didn't work. It was just the worst thing I've ever done. And I went, you know what? I guess I'm not quite as there as I think I possibly might be in my brain.
Interesting. It's quite narcissistic of you.
No, it is a bit like it's.
You don't- it is-
but I think everyone.
The
does
reason
it
it surprises me is because you don't strike me as that type of guy at all.
But
which is
I'm
interesting.
not is the thing. Like typically I'm not. It's with singing and auditions is like one thing that I do. I'm like, oh god, that was a really bad audition. Like I'm quite critical with like singing and like bands and things like that. Like the sound of music, I really sort of hear it. I listen to it and I'm very critical of it. And then I went and did my audition and it was bloody awful. And I got there and it was just the most uncomfortable thing I've ever done. And I think there's a big. You always notice there's a difference between people doing like auditions, and then, for instance, in these shows, in the X Factor or in Pop Idol, or American Idol or something, they will win the show. And normally by the end of the show, they've sort of got a bit of a groove coming. But then the next year, they'll come back and sing their single when they're famous. You know, they've already done like a tour and everything.
Like,
and
boom.
all of a sudden, it is a different person. They come back with this powerhouse, like, energy. We are here.
Well, also because you know you're good at something. Like, I feel now when I do a podcast, when I do a YouTube channel, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And because I know what I'm doing. If I don't know something, I don't assume anything.
You say, yeah, okay. Well, fair
like,
enough.
I think if I was giving a talk or something, and I've given talks, so I guess I know I'm okay at that. But like, if we were going to do a live podcast or something, so like something slightly different, or we go on tour and we do the show live and blah, 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 I'd be like, okay, that would be fine. Because I have experience doing it like this. I've also done live things before. And it's like, I know that neither of these are going to particularly bother me. But then if it was something that is outside of my comfort zone, I would assume I suck. Or I would assume that I would do probably slightly better than the average person because, I don't know, I'm quite competent.
Have you ever done like have you ever done any like free filming sort of vlog style
Yes,
videos?
for sure. I did for a year.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Interesting. Right, there you go. I think a lot of your stuff is sort of quite set. It's sort of, this is how we do it. It's
but
edited.
This isn't. And
This
I've done a
isn't.
podcast like this before, and I do a YouTube channel which is freeform, and I've done a lot of camera stuff that is freeform.
Which
So-
YouTube channel's that?
Business Place,
Oh,
the new one. That's it's my little project at the moment.
Still got to watch that. Sorry.
It's really different. It's
I'll get there.
completely different. How are we doing for time, Sam?
We are right on time to wrap up.
I'm starving, so let's wrap up.
Dying. Pizza, maybe schnitzel.
Oh,
That sounds
where are you going? What, you've got it at home, or
I don't know what we've got. I don't know if we have anything.
I'm trying to decide.
I had
whether
an
wanna-
Indian yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That was really good. I had
Yeah,
a
but I
balti.
can't have that. If I ordered it now,
Yeah, you might get it.
it would be and get it delivered home.
Yeah. Wow. What's your go-to Indian order?
I like drinking korma.
Korma.
Yeah,
Come on.
I'm not like.
You're not a spicy man.
No, I love spicy foods.
So you get the least spicy dish that is offered by every Indian
I love
restaurant.
coconut.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
find it absolutely nuts for anything with coconuts.
I mean, a korma is good. A korma is a good. It's a good sort
Yeah,
of.
it's super rich.
It's very rich.
It's super good. Have you been? We should go. Have you been to the Pinned?
No.
Oh yeah, this is solid. This is a great Indian restaurant here. And even like, I don't know, I feel we're British. We've eaten a lot of Indian food.
Indian, yeah.
This is solid, really solid.
I don't think people understand how weaved into the culture of
Indian food
of
is.
England,
Yeah.
when Indian food
Every
is.
village has an Indian restaurant.
Oh, at least.
Yeah.
At least one. And it's where we always used to go for my birthday, like everyone's birthdays. You go to Indian.
Kebab, Chinese, even maybe Chinese. Indian for sure.
Oh, I was going to say kebab and Chinese are nothing on Indian in the UK.
I think
Like,
there's more Indian than kebabs.
definitely. No. Okay.
Because an Indian restaurant
Maybe
is
not
a different
more.
thing.
Maybe not more, but
There's
bigger. Like it's not bigger.
It's a
like
bigger cultural
It's a
thing
bigger
for
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to decide. We're going to talk about food, but if you're watching this far in the show, you're in. You know, if you've made it to the end, you could probably deal with some dinner talk. I'm trying to decide whether I get a slice of pizza from the pizza place or whether I pick up a kebab wrap from the kebab shop.
You could get the Pizza Hut.
This is from last episode, Mikhail Gorbachev.
Pizza Hut
Pizza
has
are the
definitely changed its pizzas. They used to be very greasy. Now they're much more doughy. They're actually
Dude, but
quite
I
good
can't
pizzas
get
now.
Pizza Hut, so this isn't helping.
Simon, let's let the people go.
No, Sam, I need to make my dinner
Simon,
decisions.
let's let the people go. It's time to go.
Okay,
We're
you're
wrapping up. We're doing
what
it.
am I going to eat?
Thank you for watching, people. I'm going to sign off. If you've enjoyed this, subscribe, leave us comments, leave us ratings. We want 5-star ratings from you, if that's possible. If you liked it, if you don't like it, then don't leave a rating. Thanks.
I like how you're doing this sign up. I've just left.
Yeah, Simon's left me. I like this. I think this is he's assumed responsibility. So he's let me take it. No, thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next episode. Thank you very much, and goodbye.